guys, Haley and Mika here, and we're just going to do a quick review of the IPI process and give you some strategies and practices in your classroom to use. So some reminders before we get started that this is not a continuum or a hierarchy, that 5 and 6, levels 5 and 6 are not better necessarily than 3 and 4. They're just very different, and then throughout the course of a lesson, you're going to want to probably be in all these areas, 5 and 6 and 3 and 4.
Okay, so one thing to remember is that a few times a year there will be teachers from the IPI training team who will be coming into your classroom to collect data. And when they come into the classroom, some things to remember are that they're going to code that as what they see in the first few seconds of walking into the door. And some reminders also are that they're only looking at the students, and if you have students that are doing different, for example, stations, maybe during a reading lesson or a math lesson, they'll come around and count how many students are doing each activity, and then they will code it for the majority of students and what they're doing. So category 1 is coded when they would walk in the room and the students are not engaged in learning that's related to the curriculum in any way.
Categories levels 2 and 3 are very similar based on how the students are engaged in thinking, but different based on the role of the teacher during the lesson. And level 2, the students are engaged, but the teacher is not. Then in level 3, the students are engaged doing that lower level cognitive work, such as practice, but the teacher is engaged.
Okay, then a level 4 is teacher-led instruction, and that's pretty recognizable because it would be the teacher is leading the lesson, whether that would be small group or whole group lesson, and the students are attentive and following the leadership of the teacher.
And then finally, categories or levels 5 and 6 are coded when students are engaged in that higher order, that deeper thinking. And the difference is that level 5 is with peer-to-peer discussion and the teacher engaged, and level 6 is that higher level cognitive work as an individual. And with 5 and 6, it's important to remember that it's not the lower skills such as practice, recall. It's more of the analyzing, the goal setting, strategizing, critical thinking, creating, and decision making, those higher level skills that are really stretching the student's brain. So stay tuned, and we will give you some ideas on how to get to a 5 and a 6.
To the sugar cubes when you bash them together in the container. How different are they from the one you didn't shake? We could say that the ones we didn't shake are more circular ones that showed it. The one that we did not shake, it's more square. So I've got a triangle. This circle can roll. Yeah. Hey, Holly, I've got a triangle and it has 1, 2, 3 sides. It still has 3.
What is this?
I got
A triangle. Let's see. Does it go there?
I need a triangle.
All right. So what else do you need over on this side? Oh, like you need something there too.
I'm making a bat with the wings down because I'll lose them right now.
But what other thing?
Discuss this question as a class.
think about while you are planning your lesson that include create, analyze, and evaluate. In doing these 3 things, your kids are going to easily reach a level 5 or 6. They'll give you keywords to consider when you're planning those lessons. Hope they help.